Here we have the basen in Polish, and I saw some idiot translate this as swimming pool in Auschwitz. The word basen means a container of water. A pool, if this is a firefighting pool, water had to be kept on. You see this in military camps, you see this in all sorts of camps. Another place you can see in Birkenau, you can see it in Auschwitz. And I can think of military bases as well on the coast where there's still former German barracks, Wehrmacht barracks, where you have the same sort of thing. Everything built around it is built of wood mainly. There were regulations which were actually enforced. Strangely enough, you've got the places where, like Birkenau, you've got thousands of people dying every day, but they've kept the building regulations, which meant that this type of water retention tank was required. It wasn't a result of the fire raids. The chance of hitting a camp of this size on a raid is really quite remote. Not only that, when you think of the fire raid, think of Lubeck, of Dresden, of Pforzheim and others. You need narrow streets, you need lots of wood, and to create the effect of the firestorm. You're not going to get a firestorm created in a place like this because there isn't enough. You imagine, there's thousands of prisoners in here. You can imagine the buildings, but look out round outside. Look what else we've got. We've got forests, we've got fields, we've got. So it's not going to create a firestorm. Apart from that, it's too far away from the bases of the Western Allies. Admittedly, Dresden isn't all that far from here, but that fire retention pool was put in there in either 1940 or in 1941, so before anybody had heard of fire raids that found its way here. I'll just say a few words actually about today, because today's the 20th of July 1944. It's unusually bad weather. If you've been in the Shetland Islands, you'd find this has been an excellent day, but because the temperature is a bit like that here today. It's damp, though it's relatively warm. Just touched my t-shirt. I didn't realise how wet it is. But you've got the sounds of nature. No one else is around. Various birds. I might have heard earlier you had the clicking of the wagtails and these other sounds, quite happy. And it doesn't look like a place of evil. Let's not forget that 40,000 people died here, and of the other 80,000 prisoners that went through here, many of them died in other places. They were transferred in, they were transferred out. Buchenwald had the highest number of transports to it. I think more people were actually transferred though to Flossenburg. These are mainly towards the end of the war, when the death marches in the winter and spring of 1945. And despite what we have around us today, which is pleasant, I think, or pleasant-ish, I don't know, well, it wasn't raining, I think that one cannot forget the terror of the prisoners who were here. And the terror was actually really reinforced by the population around here, who were then Germans, and who, according to many prisoners, had a rather negative attitude towards the prisoners in the camp. Some of the prisoners, of course, were Germans themselves, but many of them were Poles, many were Jews, and Jews coming from various countries. And this, according to one account, where the author writes of, they've got the Hitler Jugend throwing stones at the prisoners as they're being taken from the railway line to the camp. I mean, I'm surprised the guards even allowed that, because it can't have done much for discipline, and certainly the stones could have ended up hitting the guards themselves.